Before the Singapore Grand Prix, I said if McLaren did not deliver and Max Verstappen outperformed both of the McLarens, I would make a video talking about the championship. Singapore has come and gone, and Verstappen did exactly that, with George Russell taking a shock first place, with Verstappen second, Norris third, and Piastri only fourth. And even though this was enough for McLaren to take the Constructors' Championship, things are really starting to heat up in the drivers. After the Dutch Grand Prix, Oscar Piastri was leading the championship by 34 points. To Lando Norris, to Verstappen, who was 104 points behind him. And let's get real, it was starting to look pretty comfortable for Oscar Piastri. But now, only 3 races later, Norris has this gap down to 22 points, less than a race win, and Max Verstappen is 63 points behind Oscar Piastri. So with the points getting closer and closer, let's talk about the 2025 Drivers' Championship. Yeah, I have to talk about the McLarens first. I mean, the whole thing is a bloody joke at this point, all because of that bleeding papaya rules. Honestly, I think all F1 fans get PTSD now whenever we hear this coming up. In Singapore, Norris in the qualifying had a stinker. Qualified 5th, extremely bad for his championship hopes, with Oscar Piastri qualifying in 3rd. Wasn't amazing? This would have been a good 5 points advantage over Norris. That could help him in the championship. But then, at the start of the race, Lando Norris had a brilliant getaway, getting up into 4th and then side by side with Oscar Piastri, and he got the move done, up into 3rd place ahead of his main rival for the championship. Now, it was a feisty move, one that Lando Norris had to barge his shoulders about to get done, but at the end of the day, it was a move where he saw he had a chance to go on the inside, he misjudged it a little bit, but not enough, and it was given as a racing incident. And what Lando Norris said afterwards basically is completely right. Anyone on the grid would have gone for this move. However, this is the thing, isn't it? Because of these bloody papaya rules, everything's gone up in flames around McLaren because of this move. Because the issue is, you can't just look at this move by itself. You now have to look at every single time papaya rules has been used, and the one that we just saw was in Monza, where Oscar Piastri was told to give the position back to Lando Norris because of a slow pit stop, and Oscar Piastri obliged. But now, when it comes to Singapore and they get a bit argy-bargy, and Oscar Piastri's like, well, hello, he's kind of pushed me here, surely we give the position back and we go racing again, they say no. And this is why, at the same time, I'm also quite excited that something like this has finally happened. Oscar Piastri has finally been shown that he just can't rely on McLaren as a team to help him out. At the end of the day, I still agree to this, that Oscar Piastri shouldn't even given the position back in Monza, just race. That's a part of racing, slow pit stops, just race, see if Lando Norris get back past Oscar Piastri. And the same applies to Singapore. Lando Norris a little bit tussly with Oscar Piastri, just go racing, see what happens. It was a racing incident, nothing more needed to happen. But again, because of all of these other incidents that have happened, because of papaya rules and all of this stuff, that's the reason why Oscar Piastri is unhappy. And that's the reason why you got a lot of fans so polar on Lando Norris should have kept it. And I agree. Just looking at Singapore, he should have kept it. But then you also have fans going, well, papaya rules, this surely has to be one of the papaya rules. So at the end of the day, it's just so messy at McLaren. And hey, I have an easy solution for McLaren if they do want any problems solved around. And it's just as simple as stop dicking about with papaya rules. Like I mentioned, now that this has all happened, I don't think they're going to get through to Oscar Piastri anymore. If he gets asked to do something for the team, he's not going to do it. Lando Norris has clearly shown in Singapore that he's the exact same. We're getting to this do or die situation in the championship. Of course, they're going to start getting feisty with each other. You can't control 2 young drivers who both want to get their first championship. I don't know what McLaren thought they were thinking that they could do this to start with, but it's been clearly shown now in Singapore that it's off now. They are going to be fighting for themselves, and quite rightfully so. Let's just see, in terms of racing, who ends up being the better person on the day. Slow pit stops, tussling for position, these things happen. You've got to stop letting these things take control of it and just let the racing be racing. The reason why it's going to get so interesting is take Lando Norris's average points ahead of Piastri since Monza. you'll get 4 points every race. 4 times 6, the amount of races left, 24 points in Lando Norris's favour, if he continues with this momentum he's got. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be the exact same, but it's very clear that the momentum, even if it's a small momentum, is in Lando Norris's favour compared to Oscar Piastri. And that would put Lando 2 points ahead of Oscar Piastri after the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, making him the world champion. So it's just another point of how dire the situation is for Oscar Piastri, that he needs to just start thinking for himself, talk to Mark Webber, to get Mark Webber to tell him exactly how he should be acting, to not be a number 2 driver. Don't let the team sway you in any way, because this championship is so easily slippable from one mistake from Oscar Piastri. It's incredibly worrying if this is how the rest of the season's going to go for Oscar Piastri. For Lando Norris, he would love for this to happen, and he is the one who's going to be aggressive for the rest of the season. He's the one that needs to get rid of these points behind Oscar Piastri. And hey, this is all without talking about the main man himself, who's made himself available so nicely for his 5th championship, Max bloody Verstappen. Let's bring him in. Like I mentioned at the start of the video, Max Verstappen after Zandvoort had a 104 point gap to Oscar Piastri. It is now 63 points. That's a 41 point difference between what it is now compared to heading into Monza. Now, let's do the same thing we did with Lando Norris to Oscar Piastri, getting his points from the momentum he's had from the 3 races over Oscar Piastri onto the rest of the season. And that is 13.67 points on average for Max Verstappen in favour of Oscar Piastri. 13.67 times 6, we get 82. This would not only put him ahead of Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris, but this would put him almost a race win comfortably in the championship lead to win it. What? This is why it's so important that we have to talk about this now. It's no longer a pipe dream. It really is not. Like I mentioned, if Max Verstappen performed in Singapore, that means that Red Bull can perform anywhere where Max is driving. This is very dangerous for McLaren. Listen, a couple of weeks ago when I was talking about the championship, I said that Oscar Piastri has about a 70% chance of winning the championship, Lando Norris about 29%, to Max Verstappen the 1%. And I was joking about, how anything can happen. Just wait. F1 is F1. Something drastic could change. Now, it's not exactly how I thought it would go, but wow, oh wow, is that change exactly what's happening. I would now say Oscar Piastri still holds a firm 50% chance of winning the championship. Lando's probably stayed the same a bit, about 30-odd%, but Max Verstappen, he's probably got about a 20% chance now. It's rising after every race weekend that he is beating the McLaren duo. He's coming, and he's coming fast. But I talked about this in a prior video where Lando Norris in 2024 had a similar gap that Max Verstappen has right now. And it's just such a big contrast because of what driver it is. Because put anyone else in this situation Max Verstappen's in right now, and I do not have faith in them winning the championship at all. It's only because it's Max Verstappen, being Max Verstappen, I have faith in him clawing back these 63 points. And bear this in mind, yeah? In COTA last season in 2024, Ferrari looked really good. With where Ferrari are right now, I'd be surprised if they were doing the same. So it looks like another track that Verstappen could be up there for. Like I mentioned earlier, Singapore, he performed. He can now do it anywhere with that new floor with Red Bull. It's incredible for all you Max Verstappen fans out there because it really has shown he's in it to win it now. And last season, we also saw he was able to outmaneuver Lando Norris and beat him in, let's get real, a slower car. There's also Brazil coming up where he's an absolute dominant force. Any wet race that ends up coming about in the last 6 races, you know he is the favourite for this race. And then finally, he always performs in Qatar as well. This is over potentially half of the races coming up that Max Verstappen looks good for to at least be in the top 3. And now with McLaren dropping off on the development compared to the other teams like Mercedes and Red Bull, and they might not win every race, this is so doable for Verstappen. I can't state this enough how deadly this is for the McLaren duo. But at the end of the day, this is exactly what we have wanted all season long in 2025. It's now a legit three-way battle for the title, with the points getting closer and closer. Papaya rules, you can chuck them right out of the window because Piastri is pissed off. He's not going to be listening to the team anymore. Lando Norris is finally driving like a driver who wants to win this championship, making moves with a bit of urgency and commitment. And Verstappen is just big Verstappen and just not letting that championship go until he bloody says so. So, who's going to win the championship? Comment down below who you think will, because all I can tell you right now is it's going to get so close. If it's anything like we've had in the last 3 races, the championship could completely flip on its head. They could all be within 20 points of each other between now to Abu Dhabi. And hey, I am all for this. Let's get those gloves off and let's go racing for the last 6 races. And hey, everyone, let's bloody enjoy it. So take care, everyone. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye-bye.